Have you ever felt a quiet sense of unease after hearing a health story, even when nothing in your body feels wrong? One of my patients once shared something very similar with me during a peaceful morning visit. I want you to imagine this with me for a moment. The clinic was calm, sunlight coming through the window, and an older woman sat across from me with a thoughtful look. She asked why experts still mention Nipah virus when it feels so far from everyday life. Her voice was steady, not fearful, just curious. In that moment, I was reminded of a truth I have learned after decades of caring for older adults. When experts continue to talk about a health topic, it does not mean danger is approaching. It means science is working quietly, watching carefully, and doing its job to protect communities over time. As we age, our brains handle medical information differently than they once did. A younger mind may skim past a headline and move on. An older mind, shaped by years of responsibility and care, tends to pause and hold on to what it hears. When information is rushed or dramatic, the body can respond with tension. When information is placed in the right context, the body stays calm. Awareness is not meant to frighten you. Awareness exists to support stability. In my practice, I have seen how gentle explanations help seniors sleep better, stay grounded in their routines, and feel emotionally safe. This is especially important for those living with memory changes, where a calm nervous system makes daily life feel manageable again. Understanding does not demand action. It invites trust, so the question we will explore together is simple. Why do experts still call Nipah virus deadly? Not to alarm older adults, but to explain how medicine evaluates risk responsibly and thoughtfully over the long term. If you find these conversations helpful, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Senior Health Daily. Your support helps us continue creating calm and trustworthy health guidance made especially for you. In the next part, we will gently explore how experts use language in medicine and why clarity matters more than urgency for senior health. How medical experts define deadly. As we continue together, I want to gently explain a word that often sounds heavier than it is meant to be. The word is deadly. In everyday conversation, this word can feel final and frightening. In medicine, it has a different role. It is a technical term used with care, not emotion. When medical experts describe a virus as deadly, they are not predicting what will happen to any one person. They are not speaking about today or tomorrow. They are describing patterns they have observed over time, across many situations, many places, and many years. It is a way for science to stay honest and prepared, not a way to alarm the public. In my decades of practice, I have seen how this word can be misunderstood, especially by older adults who naturally listen more carefully to health information. Seniors have lived long enough to know that words matter. When something sounds serious, the body often reacts before the mind has time to place it in context. That reaction is human, not a weakness. From a scientific standpoint, experts use the word deadly to describe a combination of factors. They look at how a virus behaves in the body, how challenging it can be to treat in certain settings, and how important it is to monitor carefully. This language helps doctors and public health teams communicate clearly with one another. It allows them to prepare systems of care quietly and responsibly. What is important for seniors to understand is this: medical language is designed for coordination, not prediction. When experts continue to use a serious term, it usually means they are staying attentive, not that something new or immediate is happening. This distinction protects emotional safety. I often explain this to patients by comparing it to how doctors describe chronic conditions. A diagnosis may sound severe, yet many people live full and stable lives with proper care and routine. The word guides planning. It does not dictate outcomes. In my clinic, patients who understand this difference tend to feel calmer. They stop personalizing medical language. Their sleep improves. Their routines remain steady. The nervous system settles when it understands that words are being used carefully, not dramatically. For older adults, especially those managing memory changes, this clarity is essential. Confusion often comes not from facts, but from tone. When language is explained gently, the brain does not fill in fearful details on its own. So when experts use the word deadly, it is not meant as a warning to individuals. It is a signal within the medical community to remain thoughtful and prepared. Understanding this allows seniors to stay grounded. It preserves dignity. It keeps awareness in its proper place, as information meant to support calm, not disrupt it. This understanding becomes the foundation for everything that follows. It allows us to listen without tension and to learn without fear, which is exactly where senior health is best protected. What makes Nipah virus concerning to scientists? As we move forward, I want to talk about why scientists continue to study Nipah virus, and I want to do this in a way that feels steady and grounded. Curiosity in science is not driven by panic. It is driven by responsibility. When researchers pay close attention to something, it usually means they are doing their work carefully, not urgently. Scientists study Nipah virus for the same reason they study many other health conditions that most people will never encounter. They want to understand how the body responds, how systems of care can stay ready, and how communities can remain protected over time. This is what preparation looks like in medicine. It happens quietly, often years before the public ever hears a name. In everyday language, you might think of this as checking the foundation of a house, even when everything looks stable. You do not wait for a problem to appear. You inspect, you maintain, and you make sure everything is solid. Science works the same way. Continued research means professionals are making sure they understand how something behaves so they can respond calmly if needed. In my years of practice, I have seen how this kind of preparation benefits everyone, especially older adults. Seniors do best when health systems are steady and predictable. Research allows doctors to create clear guidelines long before they are ever required. It supports routine rather than disrupting it. Scientists are also careful observers of patterns. They look at how different viruses interact with the human body in general, not with one individual. This broader view helps them improve communication, training, and coordination across healthcare settings. It is not about expecting problems. It is about being respectful of uncertainty. For seniors, it is important to understand that research does not mean something is actively threatening daily life. It means experts are keeping watch so older adults do not have to. This distinction matters for emotional safety. When people believe research equals danger, anxiety can grow. When people understand research equals readiness, calm returns. I often remind my patients that much of medicine happens behind the scenes. Vaccination programs, hospital protocols, and caregiver training are built years in advance. By the time information reaches the public, many layers of preparation are already in place. This careful attention is part of how science honors human life. It treats health as something worth protecting, long before intervention is ever needed. That philosophy aligns closely with senior care, where prevention, routine, and patience matter more than reaction. So when you hear that scientists continue to study Nipah virus, it is not a signal to worry. It is a reminder that medicine values foresight. It means experts are choosing readiness over surprise. For older adults, that knowledge can be comforting. It tells you that systems exist to support stability, allowing you to continue living your life with confidence, dignity, and peace. Nipah virus and senior health perspective. When we look at Nipah virus through the lens of senior health, the most important issue is not who might be affected. It is how information is received and understood by older adults. Seniors do not need louder warnings. They need clearer explanations. As we age, our relationship with information changes. Older adults have lived through decades of headlines, public scares, and shifting medical advice. Because of that experience, the mind naturally listens more carefully when a serious topic appears. This attentiveness is a strength, but it also means unclear or dramatic messages can linger longer than intended. In my practice, I often see seniors arrive feeling unsettled, not because of something happening in their bodies, but because of something they heard without context. A brief news segment or a dramatic headline can leave questions unanswered. When the mind does not receive a full explanation, it tries to fill in the gaps. That process can quietly disturb emotional balance. Senior health depends heavily on emotional regulation. When the nervous system feels overstimulated, the body reacts, sleep becomes lighter, focus drifts, routine feels less secure. None of this is caused by the health topic itself. It comes from confusion. Clear information prevents that cycle. This is why seniors need health explanations that are steady and complete. Not simplified in a dismissive way, but framed with care. When information is placed in context, the brain can sort it calmly. It understands where the topic fits and where it does not. This allows older adults to remain grounded in their daily lives. It is important to say this clearly. Seniors are not more vulnerable because of age. They are more affected by how messages are delivered. Sensational media is designed to capture attention quickly. It does not pause to explain. That pace works poorly for an aging nervous system that values clarity and trust. When health information is shared responsibly, seniors respond with confidence. They ask thoughtful questions. They continue their routines. They do not feel pressured to act or worry. This stability supports overall well-being. I often tell families that good communication is a form of preventive care. When older adults understand why a topic is being discussed, they are less likely to carry unnecessary concern. This is especially important for those managing early memory changes, where repeated exposure to dramatic messages can blur into persistent unease. A senior health perspective places dignity at the center. It respects the listener's experience and intelligence. It assumes they want to understand, not be frightened. When information honors that perspective, it becomes supportive rather than disruptive. Nipah virus, like many topics in medicine, can be discussed responsibly or sensationally. For seniors, the difference matters. Clear explanations protect emotional health. They allow older adults to stay connected to the world without being overwhelmed by it. This balance between awareness and calm is one of the quiet foundations of healthy aging. Why awareness matters more than alarm. In my years of caring for older adults, I have learned that awareness and alarm may sound similar, but they live very differently in the body. Alarm tightens everything. Awareness steadies it. This difference matters more than most people realize. Alarm asks the nervous system to stay alert. It keeps the body on edge, even when there is nothing immediate to respond to. For seniors, this can quietly disrupt sleep, appetite, and focus. I often see patients who tell me they are tired but cannot rest, or who wake up in the night with their thoughts racing. When we talk gently, it becomes clear that the cause is not illness. It is the weight of information that arrived without context. Awareness works in the opposite direction. When information is explained clearly and calmly, the brain understands where it belongs. It does not need to keep watch. The body receives a message of safety. Breathing slows. Muscles relax. Sleep comes more easily. I remember a patient in her late 70s who came to see me after several nights of poor sleep. She had been watching repeated health reports and felt unsettled, though she could not explain why. We sat together and talked through what the information actually meant. We did not rush. We did not add new details. We simply placed the facts into a wider picture. When she returned a few weeks later, she smiled and said she was sleeping through the night again. Nothing in her health had changed. Her understanding had. Patients who feel informed rather than alarmed tend to keep their routines. They eat regular meals. They take their medications consistently. They continue walking, gardening, and staying socially connected. These habits support immune health and emotional balance. Alarm disrupts routine. Awareness protects it. This is especially important for seniors managing memory changes. When alarm enters the picture, confusion can grow. When awareness is steady, the brain stays oriented. Even if details are forgotten, the feeling of calm remains. In the clinic, I see this pattern again and again. Seniors who understand why a topic is being discussed do not carry it home as worry. They carry it as reassurance. Their days feel predictable again. Their nights are quieter. Awareness does not ask the body to prepare for danger. It allows the body to return to its natural rhythm. That rhythm supports healing, rest, and resilience. Alarm pulls the body away from that rhythm. Awareness brings it back. This is why awareness matters more than alarm. It honors the aging nervous system. It supports dignity. It keeps health information where it belongs, as a guide, not a burden. When seniors are given time, clarity, and respect, their bodies respond with calm. And calm is one of the strongest foundations of health at any age. Emotional safety and the aging nervous system. Emotional safety is one of the quiet pillars of health as we age, and it is closely tied to how the nervous system responds to information. The aging nervous system is not fragile, but it is more sensitive to tone, pacing, and meaning. When awareness is offered correctly, it keeps that system from shifting into unnecessary stress. As we grow older, the body has learned patterns of protection over many years. The nervous system becomes skilled at noticing change. This skill is valuable, but it also means that sudden or unclear information can activate tension more quickly than it once did. When that happens, the body prepares itself even when there is nothing to prepare for. Muscles tighten. Breathing becomes shallow. Sleep feels lighter. This is not a failure of resilience. It is a natural response shaped by experience. Awareness, when shared calmly, helps the nervous system understand that it does not need to react. Clear explanations tell the brain where information belongs. There is no urgency attached, no demand for action. The message becomes something the mind can hold gently rather than something it must guard against. This allows the nervous system to remain regulated. I see this most clearly in patients with mild memory changes. When information arrives too quickly or without context, confusion can rise. The brain tries to make sense of fragments, and that effort creates stress. Stress then interferes with memory even more. It becomes a cycle that is difficult to interrupt. When awareness is delivered with patience, the cycle softens. Repetition becomes reassuring rather than frustrating. Familiar language and consistent explanations help the brain feel oriented. Even if details fade, the emotional memory of safety often remains. That emotional memory is powerful. It tells the nervous system that it is supported. In my practice, patients who feel emotionally safe show fewer signs of agitation. They engage more easily in conversation. They move through their day with less hesitation. Their routines remain intact. This stability supports overall health because the body is not constantly shifting between alertness and rest. Awareness also protects dignity. When older adults are given information in a way that respects their pace, they remain active participants in their care. They are not talked around or rushed. They are included. That inclusion strengthens confidence and reduces stress. For those living with early memory loss, emotional safety is often more important than factual accuracy. The nervous system responds first to how something feels. When awareness feels calm and predictable, the brain settles. When the brain settles, the body follows. Proper awareness does not stimulate the stress response. It prevents it. It acts as a steady hand on the shoulder, reminding the nervous system that nothing needs immediate attention. This gentle approach honors the aging process and supports well-being in a way that urgency never could. By protecting emotional safety, awareness becomes a form of care. It keeps the nervous system balanced. It allows memory, routine, and dignity to coexist. And that balance is essential for healthy aging. As we move through these conversations together, I want to pause in a gentle way and speak about something that often supports health, just as much as information does. It is connection. Over many years in clinical rooms and living rooms, I have seen how older adults feel steadier when they know there is a place they can return to for calm guidance. Health becomes easier to carry when it is shared within a caring community. Many seniors tell me that the world feels louder now. Messages arrive quickly and often without context. What helps most is familiarity, a steady voice, a rhythm that does not rush. When people feel they belong to a space that values patience and dignity, the nervous system relaxes. Learning becomes gentler. Questions feel welcome rather than burdensome. In my practice, patients who feel connected tend to worry less. They do not search endlessly for answers late at night. They sleep more soundly. Their routines remain intact. This is not because they know more facts. It is because they trust where their information comes from. Trust allows the body to stand down from constant alertness. Community also protects emotional safety. When seniors feel seen and respected, they are more willing to engage. They share concerns earlier. They listen with openness rather than tension. This leads to better conversations and better care. Connection creates a quiet buffer against confusion and unnecessary stress. This space was created with that purpose in mind. It is meant to feel like a familiar chair you can sit in when health topics feel heavy. No pressure, no urgency, just steady explanations and reassurance that you are not alone in asking questions as you age. I want to share something with you in that same spirit. I'm Dr. Evelyn Carter from Senior Health Daily. If this video has helped you better understand your health, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing Senior Health Daily. Your support truly encourages us to continue creating calm, helpful, and trustworthy health content made especially for you. When you choose to stay connected, you are not just supporting this channel. You are helping create a place where other older adults can find clarity and comfort. Sharing something that brings reassurance is an act of care. It extends calm beyond this moment. I have learned that health information travels best when it is carried by kindness. Community allows that kindness to move gently from one person to another. Together, we create a space where questions are met with patience and understanding. This sense of belonging matters. It reminds the aging nervous system that support is present. It helps routines feel secure again, and it allows awareness to remain what it should be, a quiet companion rather than a source of strain. Connection does not ask for effort. It simply asks for presence. And presence, at this stage of life, is one of the most healing gifts we can offer one another. Public health works quietly in the background. Public health often does its most important work quietly, far from everyday attention. It is not something that asks older adults to take action or change their routines. It exists so life can continue with stability and care, especially for those who deserve the most protection. In my years of practice, I have noticed that seniors sometimes feel a sense of responsibility when they hear about public health topics. They wonder if they should be doing something differently or staying more alert. I want to gently reassure you that public health is not a personal assignment. It is a system designed to carry that responsibility for you. Public health professionals monitor patterns, study trends, and coordinate responses long before anything reaches public conversation. Their goal is to create a protective layer around communities, so individuals do not have to remain on guard. This approach is especially important for older adults, whose health thrives best in calm and predictable environments. For seniors, public health means someone is paying attention in the background. It means hospitals are prepared, caregivers are trained, communication pathways are established. All of this happens without requiring you to track details or interpret changing information. Knowing that these systems exist allows the nervous system to relax. This quiet protection is particularly valuable for those living with memory changes. When information feels demanding, confusion can grow. Public health removes that burden. It allows seniors to stay focused on their routines, relationships, and daily comforts. That focus supports emotional safety and preserves dignity. I often describe public health as the steady infrastructure of care. Much like clean water or safe roads, it works best when it goes unnoticed. You trust it is there, and you go about your day. That trust supports well-being more than constant awareness ever could. Families also benefit from this understanding. When loved ones realize that public health does not require personal vigilance, conversations become calmer. The emphasis shifts from worry to connection. This creates a healthier environment for everyone involved. For older adults, the message is simple. You do not need to carry the weight of public health. You do not need to monitor or respond. Understanding that systems are in place is enough. That understanding brings reassurance, not obligation. Public health exists to protect the most vulnerable by design. Seniors are not expected to manage it. They are meant to be supported by it. This distinction is important. It keeps health discussions grounded in care rather than pressure. When public health works quietly, it allows older adults to live with confidence. It protects routine. It supports emotional balance. And it honors the dignity of aging by ensuring that protection does not require constant attention. That quiet presence is one of the greatest strengths of public health. It stands watch, so you do not have to. Routine protects the immune system. One of the most powerful protectors of health in later life is routine. It is something the body recognizes deeply and responds to with steadiness. When daily rhythms remain familiar, the immune system works more smoothly, and the nervous system stays calm. This is why awareness should always support routine rather than disturb it. Many seniors worry that learning about health topics means they must change how they live. I want to reassure you that this is rarely the case. Your immune system does not strengthen because of sudden adjustments. It strengthens because of consistency. The body learns safety through repetition. Waking at a familiar time, eating regular meals, moving in ways that feel natural, and resting at night all send the same message to the immune system. That message is stability. In my practice, I have seen how quickly the body responds when routines are protected. Patients who keep their usual schedules tend to recover more smoothly from common illnesses. Their sleep remains more restorative. Their appetite stays steady. These are not small details. They are the foundation of immune health. From a simple scientific view, routine helps regulate hormones that influence immunity. When sleep patterns are predictable, the body repairs itself more efficiently. When meals arrive at regular times, digestion and energy balance improve. When movement is familiar, circulation supports healing. None of this requires change. It requires continuity. For older adults, especially those managing early memory changes, routine becomes even more important. Predictability reduces mental effort. The brain does not have to constantly adjust. That saved energy supports immune response and emotional balance. When routines are disrupted unnecessarily, stress can quietly rise, and stress weakens immunity over time. I often remind families that the goal is not to introduce new habits during uncertain times. The goal is to protect the habits that already work. Seniors who continue their normal walks, their favorite meals, and their usual bedtime rituals often feel more resilient. Their bodies trust the environment they know. Awareness should reinforce this trust. It should say, "You are already doing many things right." There is no need to overhaul your day. There is no need to add new rules. Stability itself is protective. I have watched patients regain confidence simply by returning to their routines after feeling unsettled by outside information. Once their days felt familiar again, their bodies followed. Energy returned, sleep improved. The immune system responded not to change, but to calm. Routine does not mean rigidity. It means rhythm. It allows the body to anticipate what comes next. That anticipation is comforting to the immune system. It reduces the need for constant adjustment and preserves strength. By honoring your routine, you are giving your immune system what it needs most: familiarity, predictability, time. Awareness should walk alongside that rhythm quietly, never pushing it aside. When routine is protected, the body remains steady, and steadiness is one of the greatest supports to health as we age. Dementia, care, and information sharing. Caring for individuals living with dementia has shaped my understanding of how information should be shared more than any medical training ever could. Dementia does not remove a person's need for understanding. It changes how the brain receives and holds that understanding. When we honor that difference, awareness becomes a source of comfort rather than confusion. In dementia care, information is not meant to be delivered once and remembered forever. It is meant to be offered gently and repeated with patience. The aging brain, especially one affected by memory changes, relies more on emotional cues than factual detail. Tone, pace, and familiarity matter far more than precision. When information is shared calmly, the brain senses safety even if the words themselves fade. I have cared for many patients who became distressed not because of what they were told, but because of how quickly it was said. Rapid explanations or changing messages can overwhelm a brain already working hard to stay oriented. This can lead to agitation, withdrawal, or repeated questioning. These responses are not signs of resistance. They are signs that the brain feels unsettled. Awareness offered in a steady way creates a different outcome. When the same message is repeated with the same gentle tone, the brain begins to recognize the pattern. Even if the details are not retained, the feeling of familiarity remains. That feeling tells the nervous system that nothing urgent is required. Calm follows. In my experience, patients with dementia who feel emotionally safe are more engaged in daily life. They participate more willingly in routines. They sleep more soundly. Their movements are less tense. This stability supports overall health because the body is not constantly reacting to uncertainty. Caregivers often worry that repeating information means something is being done wrong. In truth, repetition is a form of care. It respects the way the brain now works. It allows the person to feel included rather than corrected. This preserves dignity and reduces stress for everyone involved. Awareness in dementia care does not require complete understanding. It requires reassurance, a steady voice, a familiar explanation, time. These elements help the brain feel anchored even when memory is unreliable. When the brain feels anchored, behavior often becomes calmer and more predictable. I have seen moments where a patient could not recall a conversation from earlier in the day, yet remained peaceful because the environment felt consistent. That peace came from awareness shared kindly and repeatedly. The brain remembered safety even when it could not remember facts. This approach also supports families. When information is shared gently and without urgency, loved ones feel less pressure to explain or correct. Conversations become softer. Relationships remain warm. Awareness that honors dementia care is not about teaching. It is about protecting emotional safety. When information is delivered with patience and consistency, the aging brain relaxes. And when the brain relaxes, the body follows. That sense of safety is one of the greatest gifts we can offer in dementia care. What seniors should truly remember. As we come to this moment together, I want to leave you with one gentle thought that matters more than any detail. Understanding is an act of self-care. It is not something you rush or measure. It is something you allow to unfold with patience. Many older adults feel pressure to keep up with information, to remember everything they hear, or to fully grasp every explanation. I want to reassure you that this is not necessary. Understanding does not demand completeness. It asks only that you listen in a way that feels kind to your mind and body. In my years of caring for seniors, I have seen how health improves when people release the need to master every topic. Those who give themselves permission to understand just enough often feel calmer. Their days feel less crowded. Their sleep becomes deeper. This is not because they know more, but because they are gentler with themselves. Self-care is often described as action, exercise more, learn more, do more. But at this stage of life, some of the most meaningful care comes from restraint. Choosing not to overload the mind, allowing information to rest quietly rather than carrying it everywhere. This protects emotional balance. Understanding also preserves dignity. It reminds you that learning is not a race. Your pace matters. Slowing down does not mean falling behind. It means honoring the wisdom of experience and the needs of an aging nervous system. Patience allows awareness to become supportive rather than heavy. It gives the brain time to organize thoughts without stress. When the brain feels respected, it responds with calm. That calm supports routine, memory, and overall health. I often tell my patients that it is enough to say, "I understand this for today." Tomorrow, you can return to it if you wish. There is no obligation to carry everything at once. This approach reduces strain and increases trust in your own ability to care for yourself. Understanding as self-care is not about knowledge. It is about relationship. Your relationship with information, your relationship with your body, your relationship with time. When those relationships are gentle, health has room to grow. So what I hope you truly remember is this. You are allowed to learn slowly. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to understand in pieces that patience is not weakness, it is care, and it is more than enough. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to thank you for staying with me and for listening with such care. Simply being here and allowing these thoughts to settle is already enough. You do not need to remember every detail. You do not need to hold on to every explanation. Awareness does not ask you to act right away. It gently opens the door to trust. Trust that your body is still being cared for, even in quiet ways you may not notice. Trust that science exists to support calm and preparation, not fear. Trust that your mind is allowed to move at its own pace. Over many years of caring for older adults, I have learned that the body responds best when it feels respected. When we approach health with patience and gratitude, the nervous system softens. Breathing becomes easier, rest comes more naturally, routine feels steady again. I hope you leave this video feeling lighter, not burdened. Let what you have heard rest quietly in the background of your day. Return to the rhythms that feel familiar to you. Those rhythms are powerful. They support strength, balance, and peace in ways that urgency never can. Senior Health Daily will always be here as a place you can return to when questions arise. Not loud, not demanding, just a steady and caring space where your experience is honored and your dignity comes first. A place where health conversations are allowed to be human. I am Dr. Evelyn Carter, and it has truly been an honor to share this time with you. Take gentle care of yourself, trust your body, trust your pace, and remember that understanding, offered with patience, is already a meaningful form of care.